Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to the Zoe Show. It's Wednesday, the 17th of June. It's just past 8 p.m. But as ever, every week, I bring you the Zoe Show, where I interview a business owner, influencer, speaker, somebody from the business community who can provide immediate impact to the audience on Facebook. So welcome to those of you who are watching on my business page and also my personal page as well. This is being streamed to both pages. Hope you enjoy the show as we introduce our guest for this evening. Bally here from Regional Homes. She's waiting backstage. I will bring her on very shortly. But before I do, just want to play this little clip for our company. Hey, Bally, how's it going?
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
Tired, but you're good. There you go. Well, you still got enough energy to come on tonight. So thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it. And I'm really hoping that everybody who's watching gets some great value out of tonight.
Hope so.
Yeah. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. Just give us a little intro about who you are.
Yeah, so for those that don't know me or who Regional Homes is, Regional Homes is my company. I'm an estate agent. I cover the Birmingham, Sandwell and Wolverhampton areas. And basically we do everything that you'd expect an estate agency to do, although I do specialise in the lettings, full management and rent-to-rent investment properties.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. And actually, you're the first guest that I've had who's going to be talking about this stuff. So I'm really excited, and I hope that people watching will have a lot of questions and comments for you. So please, guys, for those of you who are watching, please engage on the comment section, and I will highlight some comments and questions that Bally can answer as we go through. It is intensive. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things that Bally's going to be talking about. So please do engage with it. So let's start off with a question. So you're in obviously you're in property. So why should people use an estate agency?
Why wouldn't they? No, to be honest, I think it depends on the individual. So if you're somebody that already has, other commitments, maybe you've got a full-time job or you run a business, for you to actually put in the time and the effort that needs to go into looking after your investment, it could impact you in a negative way if you don't find that you actually have that time to give to it. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, it's definitely wise to use some form of estate agent or managing agent. But there are several other reasons for the benefit of having an estate agent as well. Number one, it's backup. I'm not even going to go into recent times at the moment, but of all times now, you should realise and know sort of the value of an estate agent and having somebody there for you to guide you to, all the things that we don't expect you to know, all the rules, all the regulations. You've got somebody on hand that has that. It's like a dictionary. You want to find a word, you want to look it up and you want to know the meaning, it's there. We're your property dictionary, you could say.
Okay. And how would you say you differ from other estate agents? What sets you apart?
Do you know what? Absolutely, honestly speaking, we put our heart and soul into what we do, and I'm not saying that there are agents out there that don't do that, but I can only speak for my company, and our clients aren't just clients. They're not just figures. They're not just numbers on a CRM system. Okay. They are potentially my future as well. So that is really, really important to me. So, their property is treated as if it's my property. Something that I, in my team, know all very well. We don't look at it as in, oh, that's Mr. So-and-so's, portfolio there, or that's this so and so is over there. No, we don't care. We don't look at those names. The way we see it is it's been given to us to manage, to look after, to ensure a great sort of return on that. So we treat it like our own. That's the difference that I don't think other agencies do.
Brilliant. That's that's absolutely brilliant. And I think what's even more interesting is at this current time as well, where the property industry, like many other industries, took a hit. But I think, in your opinion, how do you think? I know this is a question that we've got later on down the line, but how would you say, in your opinion, how has the property industry kind of has it been affected? I don't know. Do you think much has happened?
Honestly, I don't think as much as what people have made out. Throughout the whole, pandemic, although shop may have been shut, business was still running in the background. So we were still all remotely working from home. It was surprising how many people still, wanted to move. And I suppose I guess it's made a lot of people think. I think it separated the window shoppers from the serious, buyers, should we say. So if anything, I think that's sort of helped along the way, not sort of been wasting our time. These are serious people that really want to move, that need to move for whatever reason. And that's, that's actually still been in quite some demand. So maybe it's the fact, with having such restrictions placed on us, I guess it was a point where people were saying, well, say for instance, if they didn't have a back garden, now more than ever, you'd wish you'd have, a back garden. So people just needed to move, speaking to the people that we sort of have been helping. It was very much so, I need to ensure, flats, oh my God, that's a different level now compared to obviously what it was before. But I think if anyone's been affected in property, more so it will be the studios, the flats, the city centre apartments, through all of this. But like anything, nothing lasts. So, they will be able to get through this at some point, because at the end of the day, property is property, and over a garden, people need a roof over their heads too.
Yeah. I mean, you say people will get through this, and I suppose in some ways there are going to be, whether it's your clients or prospects or people watching this might be wondering, well, a lot's probably changed in the last few months. So how would you say, for people now to sort of stay up to date, or to think, okay, well, after what's happened now, I need that new information, which obviously comes down to compliance legislation. But in your mind, what is that, and why should they kind of almost stay updated? What's the importance of that?
Well, I think now more than ever, it's always been important, and it always will be important. Compliance and legislation, it's why people take insurance. It's your form of sort of free insurance, should we say, to make sure that you remain compliant and in line with legislation. And what I mean by that is ensuring that you've given the correct documentation that you need to give to your tenant. For instance, it can be the simplest little things that sort of can burn you twice as hard, in the long run if you don't follow through. The laws are constantly changing, constantly, and just sort of reverting back to your first question about, why use an estate agent? Well, nobody expects, and we certainly don't expect clients to know 400 plus rules and regulations that are constantly forever changing, so that's what you'd expect your agent to know, or a good agent to know, and I know the stigmas that are attached to estate agencies, and it's like, oh, rogue agent this and rogue agent that. But do you know what? There are still some of us out there that know how to do this right. There's some of us out there that actually know what we're talking about. And we're not just there to make a quick buck.
Is it as daunting as people think? Because I suppose the words compliance and legislation all of a
It
sudden,
can be.
you know,
It can be though. If I'm honest with you,
yeah.
it can be. I'm not going to lie about it. You know, you've had the right to rent checks. You've got the EPC sort of legislation sort of changing. You've got now the electric certs, obviously, that have to be done. Obviously, from the 1st of July this year, you know, you've got to ensure that you've got an electric condition report as well. The Legionella reports, you know, there's so much that's sort of added on. But more so, why it's important is, you know, I'm a firm believer of prevention over cure. So if you do something right initially, okay, you don't need to search for a cure later on. You know, so let's just say, you know, the inevitable happens and you're in a situation where unfortunately you require possession back of your property. Well, in order to obviously gain, you know, possession back of your property, there are going to be some steps that you would have had to follow, okay, before that application reaches the court. Because if you don't, for instance, let's say you had your contract wasn't compliant, you have an outdated contract that isn't seen as a fair contract. You know, I've said this before. Gone are the days, you know, where people should be downloading it, you know, from whatever regular sort of standard site, should I say? Because I'm not saying that isn't sort of sufficient to renting your property. Yes, you can rent your property with one of those, but is it backing you? Is it actually giving you that firm backing that you will need, okay, obviously further down the line? Because those are just basic contracts, okay? It doesn't actually really protect, you know, landlords well. And let's face it, the law, okay, isn't very favourable when it comes to landlords as opposed to tenants. So, you know, tenants do have the upper hand. And don't get me wrong, you know, there are lovely tenants, but it's kind of like that, you know, bad pick of the crop, that if you just happen to unfortunately be dealt with that bad hand, you know, then you want to hope that you've actually had everything in place initially. You've got a compliant contract, you know, you've given all the relevant documentation to your tenant prior to renting it. You've protected the deposit within the time frame that it's supposed to be protected. You know, you've actually got it documented that you've even given these things as well, because nowadays you need everything documented. You know, otherwise, what's to say you're not going to have somebody contest whether they had received that documentation or not? You know, so there's a, yeah, you know, it has gotten harder, you know, from previously before. And for those people that, again, rely on rent guarantee, insurance and things like that, there's, you know, you've got to make sure you've vetted your tenant as well. You know, so there's a lot that you want to put in place, but it is all just on the initial sort of offset. Once you've done all of that, it is plain sailing.
We just had a question from Khalid Ali, who I think we both know. I'll bring it up. It'll probably take up half of my screen, but it's quite a good one, actually. So I'll just skim through it because otherwise people can't see me. So it's around the fact that will there be more issues for the general public and estate agents regarding getting a mortgage, property prices coming down, and also the upcoming change from the government in regards to tax contributions. So I'm guessing that's around finances. So, you know, property finances, kind of how people's financial situations now are ever changing. So I guess the question is really from Khalid is, you know, what's the impact of that between the public or a client and the estate agent, or is there an issue?
Do you know what? To be honest with you, I that's a question that I would say, you know, we're all waiting for the answer for. You know, it's unknown at the moment. You know, to me personally, I think it's a little bit too soon. You know, a lot of people are predicting so many different things at the moment. And all I can say is, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to one thing. Those who are going to need to move are going to move. Those who have the finances to move will move, or invest, further in property, but at the end of the day, and it was difficult enough previously. Is it? I'm presuming that this is more of a sales related question over lettings. Previously it was difficult enough for people to purchase property as it is anyway. It's why rental has gone up on the rise. But yeah, unfortunately, Khalid, I can't answer that. I don't know. That is something, it's a bit of the unknown at the moment.
Khalid, get in touch with Bally. Yeah, yeah. So you'll be in the comments anyway. So I'm sure Bally, Khalid, if you are still, hopefully you're still watching this, I'm sure Bally can get in touch with you and you can go through that in a little bit more detail. So in terms of, I think has he responded? Oh no. Oh, we've got somebody who you might know who's just commented.
Oh God, here we go.
There we go. Personally, I think self-set mortgages will be coming back very soon. Okay, all right. Well, you can argue about that with him in your own time.
But this is what I mean. Everybody's got an opinion, and we just don't know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this is the great thing about this show, by the way. I mean, obviously, I joke when I say that, but with regards to people having opinions and people leaving comments now, it's like that's what this is all about. But please, guys, if you do have questions, if you do have things that you really want to ask Bally, we'll answer what we can live on the show. But things in detail, I'm sure Bally would be able to go through that with you. We've got Abid Khan saying hello, Mr. Chutney.
Hi, Abid.
And then there you go. And then your better half finally says hello as well. So.
Yeah, I'll see you in a bit, Suki.
So on to a little bit about kind of what it is. Onto, I suppose, how you've adapted as a business, and this is a really important one because we all know that. Okay, now you've got things like remote working software, video conferencing, all these different things. People have been in lockdown. There's a lot of anxiety. So. I mean, how has your business sort of coped with all of that?
Very well, I must say. And you know what? I might sound a little bit as in, okay, then. Well, the rest of us have been impacted. I'm not saying I haven't been impacted. Of course, we've all been impacted, in some way or another. And yes, it has affected, sort of revenue and sort of the amount that we would normally be doing. But nothing majorly. Like I said, those phones were still surprisingly, still ringing, even when we had to work remotely from home. It's been, initially it was a great worry and a great concern where viewings were concerned. But what we've realised is people have adapted with us. They understand the times that we're in. It's more virtual viewings now. Only if absolutely sort of mandatory and we can keep in line with sort of social distancing guidelines will we do an in-person viewing, and then that's definitely something that we will think twice before we take that action. But other than that, people have adapted well to online viewings, so if anything it's a bit of a bonus. Like less time out on the road.
And do you think that will continue now, or do you think it's just something temporary?
I think it's a new change. I definitely do. Obviously there's always going to be people that do want to still view in person, but I definitely think that we've learned to adapt there in a positive way. I think that's really good.
Okay. And in terms of how estate agents or your own businesses are gonna in terms of how estate agencies and your own business, in terms of how that's going to now move forward, is there anything else like that in the pipeline that you're now thinking of, kind of, without going into detail about it, you must have, have you got other ideas now that you want to implement and you think, okay, well, now I'm doing remote viewings, there's these other things I can introduce now?
Well, I am introducing something, and that's actually more so because of how confident I know I am in my team, in my company, and everything that we do. And I think now a lot of people have realised, with the government obviously giving the holiday period, should we say, to people obviously paying their rent. There are some people that obviously have, used that because they genuinely needed to sort of use that one there, but there are others that have abused it, who are in a situation to pay their rent but didn't. Therefore, obviously their accounts are probably still in arrears. And I know this because of other people that I know. If I'm honest, within my own estate agency, within my 2 branches, there is literally one person out of all that I manage that has actually, that is in arrears on rental payments. And funnily enough, that wasn't a tenant that we actually placed into the property. So that person was inherited, should I say. But not a major issue either. It's not sort of, it's serious, but it's not on a very, very serious level, should I say. But that just goes to show the level that we do, obviously, in the background, what we do into finding quality tenants. And with that being the case, I feel confident enough to offer guaranteed rent myself, as in regional homes will be guaranteeing people's rents.
That's fantastic. You know, I think what I really love is the fact that you've got a very positive attitude towards everything, in terms of you're not going to let anything derail you. If there's a problem or a potential bump in the road, you're going to find a solution for it. And I think that's the attitude
So
that everybody
should know me now. You should know me now.
I know. But it's a message for everybody who's watching as well, in the sense that no matter what your situation is, that there's always something that you can do to sort of to turn it around or to find another way, you know. And just before I go on to the last question or the last part, I just want to say a big congratulations actually to Bally, because she actually, you won an award, is that right? 2 awards. Talk about it. What did you win?
Can I gloat?
Yeah, go for it. Honestly, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so on Monday, I found out that I had actually been awarded the Independent Estate Agency of 2020, the year 2020, this year, in the West Midlands, through the UK Enterprise Awards. And I was also, which was a bit of a further big shocker, but I was awarded the Real Estate Businesswoman of the Year in the West Midlands. So
fantastic.
I think I've gained a qualification now to go. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we had an audience here, and I think we've got a virtual audience, they should all be clapping that, because I know I am. So
do you know, I don't know if Abid's still watching, because I can't see who's on and who isn't. But actually, I've got Abid to thank for that. Whether he knows it or not, I've got Abid to thank for that, because it was when I went to his chutney and chat and I spoke, and I recall Abid asking me the question, Bally, do you have any awards? And I thought, God, no, I've never applied, have I? And I made it, and I was determined. I thought, do you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enter myself, for awards now. And lo and behold, here you go.
Fantastic. And that's the power of networking, isn't it? That's the power of connecting with other businesses. So I think it's absolutely brilliant that you went for it, and now you've achieved it. So and that only adds to your credibility even more. So there you go, guys.
Really proud of the team. Proud of it all. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And the hard work always pays off, doesn't it? So, and that's absolutely brilliant. So in terms of, I know we've spoken a little bit about businesses, how they've been impacted, and your estate agency. But in terms of, and it's a little bit more generic now, but what's your thoughts on like the current challenges? So this is part business, part personal. So a little bit about lockdown, really, and I suppose what you've been doing to kind of keep yourself productive.
I said it in the first couple of weeks, when obviously a friend of both of us, Suman, did her online success summit, and I said it then. I've said it during. I'll say it today, and I'll keep saying it. This is a nasty storm, but storms pass. And that's what we have to remember, that no matter what, I knew it was obvious, just like everybody else. First thought is, oh my God, what's going to happen to your business? That's the first initial, business, And after the health, should I say? But at the end of the day, once you've got time to process exactly what's happened, you go, do you know what? Okay, it's a storm. It's going to pass. We will get over this. Okay, I'll have a little bit of a knockback. Okay, it's going to ask me to sit down for a bit when I'm used to standing, but sooner or later, I'll be able to get back up and do what I do best. And that's exactly what's happened. I'm fortunate that sort of the property industry were one of the first to sort of be able to get back out there. But even if you're not in the property industry, those people that have been severely impacted, because they have, they're in sort of hospitality, or pubs, clubs, trades, and what have you, that still aren't open. All they've got to remember is, yes, they should have hopefully started building a contingency. If they've never sort of had one before, of course they wouldn't have thought something like this was going to happen. But if they haven't already started planning on what they're going to be doing, then they definitely do need to be doing that, because, you've got to have a backup. I've always said it, have a plan, always have a plan. But the other thing that I've always said as well is, the stronger the roots, the better you're going to survive. So your roots are more so, also when I talk about mentality as well. Okay, if you're tuned in and it's dug deep, nothing's going to tear you apart. Nothing can. You can choose that. And I know this is going off property a little bit, but I always say, people, like you said, you're always positive and what have you. But the truth is, though, I've also sat down and been very worried when this initially all started, because when we're human, we will go through that phase. But what I don't do is dwell on it. You quickly find the solution, you quickly find the plan, and that's it. I've seen it as much of a shame it is, because a lot of businesses probably won't be remaining to what they were a few months back. But in the nicest possible way, and just putting my business hat on for a second and taking the heart out of the equation. The way I see it is, you just gave me more of a playing field. I can be a bit cutthroat.
yeah. But the thing is that obviously I'm hearing a lot of stuff there from the heart, and that's and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, everybody's gone through challenges. Everybody's going through a really tough time. And I think no matter what situation you're in, and I've been dying to bring this up, by the way, but you've now become a bit of a, I don't want to say cooking connoisseur, but you've developed a few skills in the kitchen.
That was my backup. I was getting my backup plan. I was like, right, property goes down the pan, I better learn how to bake a cake or cook samosas or something, but utilize your skills now.
So what have you made since then? So what have you learned to cook?
I've never made, believe it or not. I mean, I can cook. I know people think I'm a bit of a coconut, but I'm not. I'm actually very thirsty at heart. But I first time I made butter chicken, because it was my son's birthday coming up in May, on May the 4th, and I thought, there's nothing that we can really do. We can't go out anywhere or go to a restaurant, and I can cook, everything else, but butter chicken, I've never actually attempted. Normal chicken, yes, but not butter chicken. But his favorite was butter chicken. So I went, whatever you want, I'm going to cook it for you. So I practiced a week before, just in case, I didn't want I wanted people waking up the next morning. So I just literally managed to master butter chicken. I'm really happy to say that. Cakes, yeah, my mum's birthday came up. Did my mum a cake, son a cake. And then we did too many cakes, and I don't really want to look at one now for a while. Homemade samosas, you name it. I even did sarg chicken as well. Oh, that was nice. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
So
do you ever think that could be like an upsell now from your estate agency when you start offering offering food?
No. You know, I'd never done this before. I even brought aprons. I mean, that's how, you know, things can, I mean, with this, it's just like you're in the kitchen, nobody bothers with an apron, you know. I was like, I'm in this kitchen more times than I've ever been before. I'm getting an apron, you know. But you know what? This is what I mean. You've got to deal with things the way they are and in the best way that you possibly can. You just got to keep looking at the bright side, you know. For me to have even got to where I am today in my business, at one point, there was a waiting game. Like I had to wait. You've got to be patient. You know, sometimes you know, something's out there waiting for you, but you have to wait in order to get it because it's not the right time. Yeah. You know, and that's, again, the way some of these businesses need to be looking at it. Look, you got there in the first place for a reason. Okay, it's not easy. You and I know it is not easy, you know, running an organization, an establishment, whatever it might be. But you got there, okay? And if you can get there once, believe it or not, you will get there again. Even if it's all been stripped away from you, you will get there again. If anything, you'll do it better the next time round. You'll foolproof it.
That's wonderful. Honestly, such great words, such great inspiration, you know, and I fully believe everything you're saying, and I hope the people that are watching as well, you know, if you are one of those people who are finding it difficult at the moment to overcome a situation, or your business is a little bit kind of up and down or whatever, yeah, it's just absolutely, there is always something that you can do. And guys, you know, if you want more information, if what Bali just said has resonated with you, get in touch with her, comment on this video, connect. That's what this is all about. You know, if I don't want anybody to sit there thinking, oh, well, how do I do it? If myself or Bali can actually offer you any kind of advice towards that, please get in touch, because there's never a case of you know, I can't do this or I can't do that. So always reach out to somebody, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, so look, I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant, and you know, I love doing this for several reasons, but one of the main reasons I love it for is the fact that I'm always learning about people, about businesses, about how people have adapted during this whole time, and going forward as well. You know, this is all about kind of connecting and kind of inspiring others. And I fully believe you've done that. You know, I've heard you speak a few times at different events, and obviously kind of, you know, I know your story. So everything I've heard really is just, yeah, I couldn't make it sound better, even if I wanted to, you know. But yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant.
I can't help it. Do you know what? A lot of people think, oh, you know, initially people think, do you put on the way you talk? And I'm like, yes, this is how I talk. I can't help that. But at the end of the day, do you know what? We've all got a story. We've all got a story, you know. And the way I see it is, I can't help but sort of wear my heart on my sleeve. That resonates, I think, with my clients. And I think maybe that's where my success is coming from. That when I deal with people, you know, they're not dealing with the CEO or what. You're dealing with them. You know, yeah. I'm very transparent. You know, if I think you're going to make a wrong decision, I'm going to tell you. You know, ultimately the decision is yours. But when people come to me with their property sort of, you know, portfolios and their investment ideas and what they're going to do, I'll listen. And that's another thing that a lot of people fail to do. Start thinking, money, money, money. How much can I make off this person? Okay, rather than actually listening to what that person is saying. And what you'll find is, you know what? When you've done that and you've better advised them, that's going to go 10 times more sort of in this direction, that direction. Do you know, I spoke to Val from Regional Homes. She did this, or she told me she advised me against that, and she was right, or she advised me, you know, for this, and she was correct, or whatever it might be. You know, that's what's feeding around. You know, funnily enough, I don't need to cold call, should I say. I don't need to cold call. I haven't done that since the first year, believe it or not, touch wood. But since the first year of me running my business, I haven't needed to do that. And that's because it's that referral sort of process that if you do a good job, that word's going to travel, and so on and so on. I hear nightmare stories coming to me, from other clients saying, this has happened, that's happened, or, I've even heard people saying they want to burn their houses down with their tenants in them, and I'm like, well, you can't go to that extent, but this is what we can do. And it's about knowing, what, they say knowledge is power. Okay. Now, it doesn't make you any less than me just because you don't know about property. Okay. This is my field. I'm bound to know it, so that's why trust in what I've got to say to you. When there's a will, there's a way. And even the one that thinks that they're savvy enough to get something over you as a landlord, or they've got you backed into a corner, just try talking to Regional Homes first. That's all I'm saying.
Wonderful, and that leads in perfectly into what I was going to say to you. So, how can people best connect with you now? So, how can
So you can find me on LinkedIn. Again, it's under Bal here. Facebook, same as well. A lot of people will recognise the logo anyway, sort of when you are trying to search for me, or if not, pop into one of my branches. I've got one on Mechanic Road at the moment, and I've got one over in Smethwick as well. So just feel free. Our website is out there, regionalhomeslimited.com. All the information is there. And trust me, it's not one of those where you phone up and if you want to speak to me, just because you don't have my personal number right now, you just ask for Bal. And then the staff will put you in touch. End of.
Wonderful. That's absolutely fantastic. Bally, honestly, you know what? I always enjoy your company, but I think today, I think I've enjoyed this even more because of the value you've given and all the stuff that you've spoken about, not just business-wise, but you're so inspiring in terms of your attitude and how you've, how you basically you've got this real sense of like not giving up, and I think that's infectious. And I really hope the people that are watching can almost harness that. They can take that and really use that in their own sort of daily lives going forward now. So and once again, guys, for those who are watching, we haven't had many comments, but this video is going to stay live on my it's going to stay published on my pages. So if anybody has got any further comments or things that they want to add, please do comment, and then myself and Bally will we'll address those comments as we get them in. But thank you so much, Bally. Honestly, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you as well. And so yeah, but I'll let you go, and then I can talk about next week's show then. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Bally. Right, guys, that was it. So we had Bally here there from Regional Homes. That was episode 8. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Everything about property, how to protect your investments, inspiration about business, how you can really turn things around when you think that things are looking negative. There is always a way. So next week's show, episode 9, Wednesday, the 24th of June. We've got a good friend of mine. Somebody who I know very well, and I'm sure some of the people that are watching this. We've got Shakil Chauhan, and yeah, Shakil Chauhan. He is a good friend of mine. He's a sales trainer, speaking coach. I don't know what he doesn't do, to be honest with you, and he's probably watching this right now. Give us a comment, Shakil, if you can, while we're still on for another sort of half a minute or so. But we'll be talking with Shakil about his journey of sales, about speaking, and ultimately what that can do when you combine those two things together in business, how they can really become a powerful combination. So that's next week, 24th of June at 8 p.m. Again, live on the Zoe Creative Business page and my personal page as well. Just to also announce, we are also soon to go live on in the coming weeks on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. So we're upping the game we are extending this to more channels as well as we increase the value. So if anybody is interested in a speaking slot, we do have availability coming up now in August. So please message me and inquire, and we'll see what we can do. But thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. Any more comments or questions, please add them, and we shall see you next week on Wednesday. Thank you very much.